At 7:09, call to order the Monday, October 2nd, regular meeting of the Town of Killingly Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission, and we will now have the roll call.
Rodney Galton.
Here.
Paul Archer.
Here.
Karina Torrey is here. Cindy Eggers is absent with notification, as is Chris McDonald.
Okay. Adoption of the minutes of the September 11th regular meeting and the September 25th special meeting, the site walk we had. Have you had a chance to review?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to citizens' participation. Doesn't appear we have anybody here for that.
Nope.
Okay. Unfinished business. Application 231572 of Brett and Paige Bissonette for construction of a single-family home.
All right, for the record, Norm Tebow, Killingly Engineering Associates. I am here representing Brett and Paige Bissonette for this 4.6 plus or minus acre parcel located at on Mason Hill Road. As you know, you went out to the site walk, and we've got a at the entrance of the site, which actually isn't shown on this color drawing that I have here. We have this small wetland pocket where, as you saw when you were out on the site, the existing 15-inch corrugated metal pipe is all silted up. It wasn't functioning very properly, and there was water running out into Mason Hill Road. We did find the outlet, which is approximately 160 feet away or so. To the west, it actually discharges within the town's right-of-way, and I did speak to Dave Capascione about it. One of his comments was regarding cleaning of that pipe. So my client has agreed to clean out the entrance of the pipe near the driveway. In fact, when I told him about it, he said, "Oh, I'll go out and clean it today." I said, "No, don't do that. Wait until you get your approvals." He will clean out the entrance of the pipe, and we're calling to install a little bit of riprap over there as well, just to kind of try and keep things at bay and keep it from getting clogged a second time. I did talk to Dave, and he was going to talk to Public Works about cleaning out the discharge end of the pipe down along the edge of Mason Hill Road. Obviously, the activity to expose that pipe and to clean out the end, and it's going to result in a little over 100 square feet of wetlands disturbance to do that, which we hadn't shown previously on the plan. So utilities will be overhead. We're showing there's going to be an overhead utility easement once Eversource tells us what they want. Essentially, it'll be utility poles to a certain point, and then likely underground after the last pole to the home. This easement right here is currently in place. It goes across the land of James Hitchew. This other triangular little corner is going to be an addition to that easement that is going to be put in place because the driveway kind of goes off in that direction currently, and we're going to keep it there. One of the questions that Dave asked about was we've got that sort of gravel rectangular area at the top of the lot. He asked if it was going to be a structure of any type, if you're going to put a shed or a barn on it, and that's just something that was there previously to the owner's purchase of the property. He has no intention to really do anything with it except just kind of like let it go back to, well, let it grow up, and that'll be the end of it. Septic system we show here, and as you can see, there is this off the property wetlands. It is a not a really well defined wetlands, as you saw on the site. So we are proposing to put that the septic system in this area here. We did take a look a little further back on the property too. There is quite a bit of ledge down toward the back of the property. So even though you've got this greater than 4.5 acre parcel, the lay of the land and with the rock outcrops and the ledge and so forth that we have there, really have to kind of keep everything focused pretty much where it is to make it work properly. Aside from the 106 square feet of wetlands disturbance at the beginning of the site, we're not proposing any other direct wetlands impacts. We are proposing silt fence along the limits of the clearing, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have at this point.
Looking at the overhead service to the property, do you think it's just going to be selective limbing, no cutting of trees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really heavily vegetated along that area.
Norm, do you think that 15-inch CMP is just plugged all the way through, or just plugged at either end? Potentially have to replace it?
I don't think we're going to have to replace it, but I mean, it certainly is plugged. We saw evidence at the outlet that there was water trickling through it, so I think with cleaning out each end, we should be fine. I mean, I think as you saw while you were out there, the water was high there, but it wasn't really kind of blowing over the driveway. It was just kind of like making its way over it. The couple of times that I went to the site, prior to your site walk, there wasn't a drop of water on that side of the driveway, and we've had a pretty wet summer. So I think it's just in these extreme events is when you get to, the impact of it being clogged, really, you really notice it at that point.
And you said the town's going to be cleaning out the outlet, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked to Dave this afternoon, and he said he would talk to Matt.
Just in case there's any wetlands in the area, they're covered for it. Yeah. Well, like I said, we're at the outlet. It was odd. It just seems like we could just see off in that direction. Just looking at the topography, we said, well, it looks like it might be over here. We had gone out there when it was really dry, and we couldn't find anything. And we went back kind of to that same area, and we could see the water kind of trickling through at the discharge point. So that's how we were able to locate it. We flagged it up so that when Public Works goes out there, they'll be able to locate it. Did town staff have any comments regarding this?
No, the main concern was the pipe, looking at the pipe really, and
yeah.
Yeah, it does cross.
Yeah,
it crosses off the property.
It crosses
comes the town pipe.
off the property and then comes on to town property.
Yep.
So, and when we had originally spoken to engineering, that they was like, well, it's kind of on your property, so you guys should be responsible for cleaning it, which we had no problem with. But then when we discovered that the outlet wasn't on our property, it was actually on the town property at that point. So.
Yeah, the only question that had come up on our end, and Dave didn't seem as concerned about it, was on the inlet, whether or not there should be any sort of easement, in terms of future maintenance or
Yeah.
or anything like that, which I don't even know
Well,
if your
it's
client could grant, 'cause it's not.
well, it's on his property, and if
Yeah.
he's going to be maintaining it,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what an easement would do. You know.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, easements inside of easements get a little
tricky, yeah.
Yeah, they're just cumbersome, I think.
Paul, do you have any questions, comments?
I don't,
Karina?
like I said, I thought, when we were out there, I thought the wetlands up near the house, I mean, I could walk through that 20 times and not even believe it's a wetland.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, we sent Joe out there to flag the beginning, you know, is what it was, and he came back and he said, hey, there's something up here too. So, I mean, it is really flat. I mean, I'm not surprised if you look at the topography there, it's
Yeah,
really
looks like
flat.
a small little depression right
Yeah,
there, but yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that that was a wetland, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
I make a motion to approve application 23-11572 of Breton Bay Net as presented.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the application. Do we have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Motion carries.
Norm gets to sit there,
Yeah.
right, for the next one?
I get to save for the next one as well.
Next, application 23-1573 of Edward and Lynn Martins for the construction of a single-family home.
This is a two-lot subdivision that was done quite some time ago. I mean, back in the early 2000s, it was done by KWP Associates. So it's, there were two rear lots with a shared driveway. It was never really constructed until, let me get back to the microphone here.
Yep.
So, the gentleman that's constructing right now, Mr. Ed Martins, where he's going to be constructing on Lot 5-1. Lot 5-2 was built approximately, I think they finished just over a year ago. They finished building, and that's Neil and Christy Barnett own that home, and it's the wife's parents that are building this house here. There was always their intention to buy the two lots and have him build as well. So, the lot, we went back and did some additional soil testing because the original test pits were way up here in the corner. You can see the original ones, and there was one kind of where the garage is. The perk test, and the second one that's up in the northeast corner of the lot. And also the original house was shown kind of like tucked up in the corner over here, and it just didn't make a lot of sense. And I think, I think probably the reasoning for doing it back then was to avoid any kind of activity within the regulated area. I think that seems to be the impetus for the reason why they did that. But anyway, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. We would have had to pump the system, and then the location, the builder, the owners didn't want the house all the way up against lot number 5 here because they have horses there, and they didn't want their house right up against the horse pasture. So we just figured, let's just do new test holes, come back to you guys. So we do have the approval from the Northeast District Department of Health. We did go with a Mantis system to keep the footprint a lot smaller. And this is a shared driveway. One of the questions that Dave Capascione, he wanted to see the driveway that goes all the way out to North Frontage Road. We've included a second sheet showing that. That driveway is in place. Another one of Dave's comments, it has to be 16 feet the whole way. It pretty much is. I think there may be a couple of small spots where it's a little less than 15, but Dave said that's something that could be addressed if when they go to get their CO. If they have to widen the drive in the shared portion a foot or two in a couple of spots, he has no issue with that. This is a 3-bedroom house. The footprint is big because it's a single level home. So the people that are building the home are, I don't want to say they're elderly, but they're older, and that they're looking to have a single level home. So of course they picked this nice L-shaped house that takes up kind of a big footprint on a lot where you've got these steep slopes, so which always seems to be the case. But it works. He kind of did the same thing next door. Neil and Christy Barnett have a very similar configuration where they kind of cut that back embankment and pushed it forward. They created themselves a nice plateau there, and the site is works out pretty well. The Neil Barnett, who is the son-in-law of the gentleman who's building, is actually going to be doing the site work. He is a licensed contractor. He built his own home, and once again, we do have the activity, the house itself and portions of the septic system within 100 feet of the wetlands, so which is the reason why we're here. Other than that, a relatively simple single-family home. Nothing too complicated or unusual about it.
So my only question is, if you have to do some widening of the existing gravel drive, there's resource areas that are on both sides, correct?
I believe so. But the original design called for a 16-foot wide driveway, and they just put it in. So if they, I believe because the Barnetts actually put that driveway in, and they obtained their wetlands permit, with I think just maybe 2 years ago. I think they would still be permitted to do that if they had to.
Okay.
Would Dave Patio maybe allow you just to do a couple bump outs, for pass-by instead of necessarily?
I'd prefer that. I mean,
It depends on the site. It's happened before where we've permitted that, especially if there's wetlands nearby. We've done that before, like hard shoulders in certain areas. We've had at least one before. It was like a 600, 700 foot long driveway that it needed 1.5 feet. But to do the whole length, 1.5 feet, it seemed very cumbersome.
I mean, I would, just my own preference, I'd prefer just to see some pull-offs, just because of where the resource areas on both sides there.
Yeah, I agree.
That'd be my preference. Obviously, we can't tell the town.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot of traffic on this driveway anyway. You got 2 houses on it.
2 houses on it, right.
So
I can always check with Dave and Alec when we get to that point in CO, because it's typically further along in the project where that would come up, and see whether or not we could go for a less potential impact as much as possible.
No, can you go to sheet 1? Just that one right there.
This one right here?
Up on the top here, you got 2 types of shading, one with a line hatch and then a gray shade.
Yeah, okay, so, this, you got overlapping easements here. One's an access easement and one's a utility easement.
Okay.
So we just kind of tried to shade them differently to differentiate them between each other. This one, this is the shaded area. The shaded area is the Eversource easement, and the crosshatched is the access easement.
Okay, so then the house on 5-2 is not in the easement?
Not in the, what, the?
Access easement.
Access, yes, because there's a, well, yes it is, because It goes across, 5-2 has to go here, so we have a crosshatch. There's two easements here. You got the shaded area.
Yep, I agree.
Right? So yeah, they, 5-2 goes here, and then they come up over here.
But you see how the driveway here goes up top here is not in the hatched area.
But that services both.
That's right,
though, no?
because that's how they built it.
Okay, so, like I said, so that it's not, okay.
Yeah, you are correct.
Okay.
Yep.
It's nothing to do with us, but I was just trying to understand it.
Yeah, I mean, this is an as-built location of the driveway, so they, that's where they put it, and, I mean, they know each other, I guess, so.
Well, as one of the people who inspected it before, I was looking at it as further away from the wetlands, so. But
Legally, they might want to get that straightened out, though.
Yeah,
they should probably extend that easement,
Yeah.
yeah.
that would be easy enough just to extend the easement a little bit. Well, what they wanted to do, he wanted to actually have this house mirrored originally, and he wanted to loop around the driveway and come back in, and I talked him out of it, saying, why do you want to do that? Because I said it's going to be, I said, all he talked about was preserving trees and not clearing too much land. I said, you're going to have to clear another half an acre to do that, and you're going to push your septic system a lot closer to the wetlands if you do that. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I said, and your driveway is going to be a couple of 100 feet longer. It's going to cost you a lot more money.
Now, he's going overhead from the last pole to the house?
Yep.
So Norman stated that Health Department has approved this. Do we have a letter in the file? I did not see it in there.
Then no, I don't think so. If it's not in that blue file, no, then I didn't get it yet.
And I didn't bring the file. I'm pretty sure it's approved. But
I think there was Joe Thoreau's in there. I think that was about it.
yeah.
I'll bring up one thing that I saw, and it's not necessarily a wetlands issue, but it's something we'll address probably at the time of zoning.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 34 north frontages.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The part of the original subdivision split off a lot that created the Wyndham Land Trust property to the north of it.
Okay.
Both come up as 34 north frontage. In our, at least in our GIS, which it could be just an issue on our end. But I meant to speak with the assessor. She was out of the office when I went to bring it up. But most likely we'll look to probably take the raw land and have that address changed.
Okay.
So,
That would make more sense.
yeah.
I just ran into that in Stonington for a subdivision we did. We filed the Mylars, and they gave us the wrong block number for all 10 lots, and we had to refile the Mylar. And then I got a call today saying, oops, one of the addresses we gave you, we doubled on it, so you have to do the Mylar again. So it was like the 3rd time we had to do the Mylar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the letter from the Health Department.
So we would usually look at obviously it's a condition. It can't.
Right.
We can't move forward without it.
Right.
And if if NDDH requires something to get moved, then we probably would have to come back here.
Okay. And like I said, John, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I have the approval, and I walked out. I left my briefcase in my office with the files in it, and so if that's the case, I could make sure you get it first thing in the morning.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Jonathan, did the town have any other
No, I mean I remember this one from the other parcel that just occurred not that long ago.
Right.
I mean technically the other permit's still valid too, for most of the easement work and driveway work. There's only so many options in terms of placing this house here.
Yeah.
And it's not that far off from the original subdivision.
No, it's not. I mean, the location is it's just that the house is bigger. You
Yeah.
know, I think that's the biggest thing. The house is bigger and the septic system, so that, you know, we don't have to like raise this thing up and push it back up into the hill. It just made a lot more sense to do
But for a
additional test
three-bedroom
holes.
house, and especially being more accessible,
Right.
it seems pretty
Right,
fair.
right.
Paul, do you have anything?
I don't.
Karina?
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve application 23-1573 Edward and Lynn Martins with a couple conditions. Condition 1, that we get a letter from the health department of approval, and 2, that we would like to see passing lanes on the driveway, and dealing with staff on the location of the passway.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the application with the conditions as stated. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks for your time.
Okay. New business. Application 23-1574 Passay Development LLC for a 3-lot subdivision with construction of 3 single-family homes and appurtenances within 200 upland review at 325 Snake Meadow Road.
There you go.
Okay, better?
Say it one more time for us.
Yes, for the record, Paul Terwilliger, licensed land surveyor with PC Survey Associates, representing the applicant, Passay Development. My client owns a property located at 325 Snake Meadow Road, which is at the corner of Hubbard Road and Snake Meadow Road. Hubbard Road is an unimproved dirt road running up westerly from Snake Meadow. Property is about 7.3 acres and contains an existing house, which is in disrepair, and I think it's in the process right now of being demolished. So he will be building a new house on that site. We're creating 3 separate new lots, about 2 lots of about 2 acres, and then another lot of just over 3 acres, with one lot having frontage on Snake Meadow Road, the other at the corner of Snake Meadow and Hubbard Road, and the third having road frontage on Hubbard Road. Proposed driveway to serve 2 of the lots off of Hubbard Road. It'll be a shared driveway because the majority of the frontage on this larger lot is has a wetland area down by the road associated with a brook that crosses through there. There's currently some twin 60-inch corrugated metal pipes bringing the brook under the road. So we'll be putting the driveway in to the east of that, running it up through and serving the two house sites on those lots. The other activity is the removal of the existing house, construction of a new house, and I believe the septic system is probably within the 200-foot regulated area. But there's no septic systems are proposed within 100 feet of any wetland. The wetland is going to have like a 75-foot wide swath of undisturbed land between the driveway and the wetland, so that should be protected from any activity in there. We'll be running, having silt fence between any uphill. The grade in here is such that any of this activity is all gonna be flowing away from where the wetland is anyway, but we'll have, silt fence between the driveway and the wetland area, you know, during construction to protect it from runoff. That's pretty much it as far as wetland impacts go. There's no crossings or anything, you know, up against any wetland.
Where are the twin pipes you said?
They're right in here, crossing Hubbard Road. And then the driveway entrance will be to the east of that.
So how many houses off the shared drive? You said two?
2 houses off the shared drive. The shared drive is actually located on the 3rd lot, so potentially they may use it to get to their backyard area, but they're gonna have their own separate driveway up in here to access the house. And there will be an easement, you know, there'll be a shared driveway easement in through here.
That wetland in the northwest is the only wetland?
This is the only wetland on the property, yep.
Mainly tonight where we're looking to receive, schedule, see if you guys want to do a site walk.
What do you think?
I don't see that as a big impact because we're down here. I mean, if we want to go and take a look at it, I'm fine with that. Jonathan, what's your opinion on it?
So I've been to the site before, not for the wetlands, but for the house. We did a zoning compliance letter on the house because it was abandoned for some time, and we had to look at it for that. It's
Where is that on the map?
the existing house.
The existing house is
Yep.
right in here,
Yeah, up against Snake Meadow.
and then the proposed house will be,
Yes, it is.
yeah, it's,
Yep.
it's like 25 feet off the
Yep.
road, so.
And that's been proposed for demolition and everything. Like it was in very poor shape internally. So the staff would probably go take a look at the crossing area and at the wetlands in general, and we can report back to you. But I mean, this is one where they're staying very much away from it. Being a subdivision, are we doing fee in lieu of open space?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I haven't looked at the P&Z
Oh.
application yet. But it seems pretty benign for it. This is just north of the Snake Meadow Club, I think,
Mhm.
where they're proposed.
Yeah,
have a pretty
they own
decent-
this property over in here.
Yeah. and
They
it-
have a proposed gravel bank like over here.
Yeah, yeah, and that's already gone through wetlands before and has an open permit. But we can take a look at it if we'll take pictures and stuff. I'll have that for next meeting. If you guys don't want to go for a walk.
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
I mean, commission members are always encouraged. They can. Deep says you can always go out and take a look at any time if you want. Although we always say exercise caution, we do prefer at least groups of 2.
Is that a motion to table?
It's a motion to receive and schedule, or receive, and you'll take it up next month. No site walk.
No sidewalk, no public hearing.
Motion to receive application 23-1574 of Passay Development without a sidewalk
Or public hearing.
or public hearing.
Second?
All right. Motion's been
Okay.
made, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Great, thank you.
See you next month.
Okay, and just hold on. The next one I got for you guys, so. I'm gonna switch the camera again. So this next one for 23-1575 of the Town of Killingly for drainage work improvements and maintenance on Yosemite Valley Road. This has been a, let me get it up on the screen for you guys. This has been one that staff's looked at. We're looking at this as maintenance and improvements within the right-of-way at an existing crossing, and I'm going to blow it up for you. It's essentially just putting riprap in areas where there's erosion. This is Yosemite Valley is a dirt road, very nice road, not very well traveled, only a couple houses on it, but Kelly Brook runs under it right now, and there's a couple areas where water comes off the road. It has to go somewhere, and unfortunately it's eroding, causing other issues, causing some disturbance at Kelly Brook as it flows down further into the ponds. You can see it during rain events. The turbidity change in the water is visible. So staff has worked with engineering to come up with a solution. There is a nice little cross section of some of the riprap outlets, particularly A to A cross section. We're looking to go down about a foot in that area, and to put in some large riprap to then taper off existing, not changing the flow or the places even where the water is going. It's more of a maintenance thing. So I try to bring these to you guys because where in the past you have ruled that these are maintenance items, normal roadwork maintenance items, being that this is a more scenic road. It's not one of our scenic roads, but it's a more scenic road. We're more likely to get phone calls or people reaching out to you to say what is going on. There is silt fence proposed. Practically, though, the way we're looking at it is the area that would be disturbed would be replaced with the riprap in kind almost immediately. In those cases, most likely silt fence would not be installed because there's no point. It would be a greater disturbance. So I wanted to put that in front of you guys and know that that's a project we're working on. We would like to move forward as jurisdictional ruling, but the commission does have the purview to say, nope, I want a full application, and then I'll let Dave know and he can get you some more details for next month.
So the idea is to excavate out approximately a foot of existing material.
Yep.
And you're putting down filter fabric or no?
So the area is, I believe, no, it's just riprap currently. I don't think filter fabric was called for in this plan, but it could be something that we could add to the plan if that's something you guys would like.
Well, speaking strictly as a civil engineer,
Okay.
I would say
You would like riprap, some
filter fabric under the riprap.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I think this is just maintenance issues. I don't think this is anything but.
Normally, our town workers would just go ahead and do most of this work, but I've gotten our highway department pretty well trained to call me on the ones that are right next to the brooks to try to keep us informed, or the drainage areas in general. So normally we work in concert with them or inspect while the work's even occurring. Yeah. So, but if that's the only item that you guys have with it, I mean, I can definitely look to make sure that that is included.
Yeah, I mean, that's my only comment. It helps in the short term till everything gets reestablished.
Yep.
And so that's
how does that work through the town? Does the town just get a every year? Do they fill out a permit to do maintenance on stuff?
So we don't do the blanket permit, but I'm aware of some places where people do that. There it is common, and Rodney knows I've probably called him once or twice, but it is common where I will reach out directly to the chair, Sandy, and say, hey, I'm not too sure about this. Quite simply, if they're disturbing directly in the wetland, staff can't approve it anyways. It's when you're in these upland areas that it's kind of a gray area. But, you know, like going back to an earlier application, you have sediment in a pipe that's submerged in a wetland, you know, so for them to jet it out or to have some guys get down in there and try to get that cleared, I would consider that a maintenance item. I don't think it would necessarily trigger a permit every single time. Similar to beavers, you know, the many times we have to clear pipes and work with Connecticut Deep, you know, over things like that. It's just a maintenance, you know, item. It's hard to predict those for a blanket permit. So it's kind of more just generally understood and accepted that this is work that has to be done. So jurisdictional would be approved as of right. You're not seeing anything really here that's beyond that. Obviously, if the scope changes, anything like that, I bring it back.
So we need a motion for an as-of-right activity.
Make a motion for application 23-1575 of the town of Killingly for an
As-of-right.
as-of-right application.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Before we do that, do we want to make that we add the, or is that already done?
If it's as of right, we can't put
Yeah,
conditions on it as
that
of
condition
right.
will be conveyed
Right, yeah.
from
We can't
us
make it-
to
yeah.
engineering and our
Yeah.
highway department.
So, made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, so the next one, and I'm going to just step in for a minute, Mr. Chair. The next one, I know we have a member who was going to recuse himself for that, but then we will lose quorum. So, hold on. Yeah, there we go. So my recommendation to the commission, because when say we didn't have a meeting, a application is by default received at the regular meeting, and then it would automatically be scheduled for the next one. My recommendation is to skip item number C under new business for this meeting, because if we have a member recuse himself, we will lose quorum, and we can't make motions if we don't have a quorum.
So really, we need a motion to skip item C.
Yep, which, you know, objectively, I think the commission member, do you feel you can act unbiasedly in making that motion? Yeah. Okay. So if everyone is okay, we would just want a motion to skip.
We have a motion.
Second.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Motion to skip? Okay.
Motion's been made and seconded to not hear item C on the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I think practically too, moving forward, if we ever found that happening again, I think we only need 2 members to actually vote, and 1 could abstain, and it would still pass. But I would have to double check the bylaws, which are in need of update. So, but there's Robert's rules got some weird some quirks.
Okay. Any correspondence?
I have received none.
And staff report.
No real staff reports. I know we've had a few residents in the area of Mashantuck call us about an activity there. Staff is monitoring that activity on the property and expect a future application for some work being done.
Whereabouts on Mashantuck?
I don't want to give you the wrong address. Hold on. It's in the area of 175 Mashantuck Road.
Okay.
Okay, so it's an applicant doing some pre-permit activity, exploratory work, but staff's gone there, looked at it, given them some direction, but we're at the point where we would like an application. So,
Okay.
and hopefully we have one for next month.
All right.
Other than that, one of the other things on the agenda would be the appointment of an additional authorized agent. So the hope for that is our workload tends to increase. Miss Brady here completed all the state requirements for that a year and a half ago.
Probably closer to 2 years.
2 years
I did that,
ago.
like, right after I started.
Yep.
yeah.
So this is long overdue.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, it's an appointment. What we look for is a motion to appoint an additional member. Previously, myself, Anne Marie Aubry are the only other staff members who currently could act as authorized agents based off previous appointments.
Mhm.
We've had other ones, Eric Rumsey, Marina Cabrero,
Right.
both who were that, but they're no longer with the town.
Right. Mm-hmm. So we just need a motion from the commission?
That's what we would look, yeah, if we could. And if, obviously you can ask her any questions she's here, so.
I'll make a motion for the appointment of an additional authorized agent.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to add an additional authorized agent, Allison Brady. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Good luck.
Yeah.
And we do have on a council member, Jason Anderson.
Hi, Jason.
There we go.
Good evening. Sorry, I was trying to unmute and having technical difficulties.
That's right.
So last month, the regular town council meeting, we had a public hearing on the easement that was being for the developer who wanted to put basically it was going to be 3 parcels adjacent to the City Savings Bank. Just in front of Olenbell Park. They were going for an easement for utilities and right-of-way to put a driveway in. There was a lot of residents who came out and spoke out against it. When it came down to the council vote, because of the value of the easement, it wasn't a town meeting, it was a council vote, because the value was below $5,000, and it failed. We recognized Officer Zemetsky. He received a medal for life-saving for something he had done about a year ago. And we briefly went over the town manager's evaluation, and that was about it. Our meeting was pretty long that night. Oh, one other thing we did have, we set a date for October 10th for public hearing for ordinance amending Chapter 11 to modify the notice provision of the alarm ordinance. And that was all we had.
Okay. Paul, do you have any questions for him or anything? Karina? No. All right. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.